may remember me from last year when I uploaded a video, a speed paint of me drawing the cover of this webcomic, which features these two characters. And I know it's been a minute, but just randomly today while I was working on the page that's coming up for this coming week, I just felt like making not even like a tutorial, but just a video that demonstrates how I color, which isn't really that complicated, but I thought it would be fun. I was watching some old speed paints from other artists that I like, and I was like, oh, this is a cool way to connect with other people, basically. So yeah, it's really a pretty simple process. You can see I'm using an action that is labeled Selection Trick, and that's something I got from K. Michael Russell's channel. He's a colorist, and if you haven't ever heard of him, you should check out his video because it's super helpful. He shows all the technical things that you need to know in Photoshop to do it. So I'm not really going to go into that here, but I'll put a link to the video that I used in the description of this video. What I do want to talk about is sort of the logic that I use in coloring and why I use different functions. So here you can see I'm selecting a bunch of stuff, and for reference you need to know that these characters are under an umbrella. That's pink, basically. So that's why all of the shadows are this really dark pink and why they're at the top of everyone's heads and the highlights are at the bottom. Because I did want there to be some light, and I figured that the place that would be coming from is from the, like, reflecting off of the table in front of them, because it's like a metal table. So that's why there's yellow overlay at the bottom of her hair. But because the color is so light, I don't just use overlay. I actually, you might be able to tell, but I color over it with sorry, I spaced out for a second there. But I color over it using just regular normal airbrush, and then I go back over that in the same color and I set it to overlay, and then the color will stand out. Because if I don't do that, then it just turns this weird sort of wonky white that doesn't really show up to the eye from far away, but just looks kind of weird. So yeah, that's the slowed down version of what I do. I use multiply for the dark parts and overlay for the light parts. And now there's just a sped up version of the rest of the coloring process. This year has been really sort of weird for this comic specifically, because I was updating it once a week or twice a week and then once a week in the springtime for a while, and then I just sort of stopped once I ran out of pages that I had at the ready, and I didn't start again until this past August, I think, when I started uploading stuff again. And by that time I had done a bunch of other artistic projects, so my style had changed a lot, and sort of just my eye had also changed a lot. So it was really, I was hesitant. I almost wanted to redo all of the original pages and just start it over, but I decided in the long run it was better to just keep going, especially since I have no plans to print this comic or to really do anything with it other than put it out there. So I decided to just go for it and just start making it again and putting it out there. I still don't really know if anyone reads it. Like, sometimes friends of mine will come up to me and say, hey, I read your comic and I really liked it, and then I kind of just get flustered and freaked out because I don't expect that from people that I know, especially. But it is cool to just have committed to an art project that I'm still going with. And I do really care about these characters a lot, so I do want to see their story through. And of course, the more that you work in comics, the more that you learn about making comics. So that's also just been really helpful and heartening for me. The main thing that I've learned is I just need to be able to work faster. I mean, this coloring process took it only took half an hour for the actual coloring, but that doesn't include the flatting, and it's also a really background light page, so I probably shouldn't take that as standard for me. But I know that, like, a lot of artists who just do the inking, it'll take them an hour or two to draw a page, and that's just, I'm not there yet. It takes me like 4 hours. Even this one took me a while. And it doesn't help that I'm really easily distracted. That's also something that I'm sort of still working on. but I do my best. And yeah, like I said, it's just been fun. And speaking of projects that I've sort of committed to and am enjoying being committed to this year, just because I kind of have always hated the month of January, I wanted to do something that would make it more palatable for me, and also do something to encourage other artists to start the year off by making a bunch of cool art things. So I started this prompt project, kind of like Inktober, in that there's a month with prompts and there are like parameters that are suggested. Although I do try to make it clear that nobody who's participating has to participate every day or use any kind of media or anything. It's just for fun. But it's called Primary, and every day people. The point is that every day you make something using only primary colors, and you can use the prompts or not use the prompts. I've been using the prompts because I feel like it would be weird not to. But yeah, me and this other person who lives in my town, Andrea. Hi, Andrea. If by some weird coincidence you are watching this. But yeah, we just came up with a calendar together, and it's really cool. Actually, a lot of people have been, well, not a lot of people, but definitely more than I expected are participating. And I feel like, I mean, right now, less of them are because I've hit a lull and feeling like doing it. So I have to get back on the ball so that other people are reminded to be on the ball. But I'm really excited because, you know, this past year and this year, I'm coming to realize that you can just do things. You don't need permission to just be creative and try and organize anything with other people. You can just do stuff, which for some reason has taken me a really long time to internalize. But yeah, so I hope that this is the start of me doing, and other people doing, like many other projects where you just do things because you can. You don't need anybody's permission or a good enough reason to do it. So that's something that I've really been appreciating. And I'm also really excited because after the project is over, I'm planning on having A, a party at my house, which is a reason to clean my room, always good, and B, I'm gonna try and make a zine of it to showcase everyone's art and further solidify that, you know, their art is valid and that it's worth making. I mean, of course, that would be true regardless, but it's just nice to have a showcase. And I feel like, as much as I like that it exists, I feel like a lot of the zines that I see in sort of comic arts culture are not faithful to what zines are supposed to be about, because they're self-promo objects, they're mini comics, or they're little anthologies, or they're fanzines, which is great. Don't get me wrong, like those are all good things. But it does kind of bum me out that you have to apply and you have to get in, and there's a threshold for it, because the original sort of ethos of zines was just making something yourself for yourself, and then just putting it out there and showing it to other people. So yeah, I want to do something that's closer to that, I guess. It's important. I think getting close to the end of the video. Yeah. So this is almost done. Thank you for watching. If you found this at all interesting and you have any questions about my coloring process or about any other part of the comic process, let me know. Or if you have topics that you want me to talk about, please let me know, because I should probably be writing scripts for these things. I think I sort of rambled about projects in my own life. And I don't know if that's really relevant to anybody else's life. Oh, okay, actually. For the eyes, that's the only place where I'll use screen instead of overlay, because it gives a much brighter color. Just FYI. And I feel like it makes them stand out more. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, thank you for watching. Read more comics and support your local comic book shop, because they literally always need it. And they always deserve it, you know? Unless try and not go to the sexist nerd ones. Go to the nice nerd ones. Okay, bye!